Welcome back, everyone. It's still Chevrolet SEMA right here, 2013. We've been talking about design for the last few minutes, and I got one more of the brilliant designers from the Chevrolet design team. Todd Parker, how you doing today, sir?
I'm doing good. How you doing?
You know, I'm amazed right now at what you guys do. I was not kidding. If you guys can figure out how to get a USB port put in the back of your guys' head, I will suck the information out just like that. But it's one of those coveted talents that I'm just so impressed by, because you guys take your brilliance and you put it into everything from these SEMA concept vehicles to the vehicles that we see in the showroom. And
right.
I gotta say, we talked to Jason, he alluded about taking that basic shape. Now, one of the things that's now that next step is where you really come in, and we talk about tires and wheels. We talk about headlights, taillights, accessories. I mean, let's talk about the first thing, like say headlights. To me, that is the the necklace on the beautiful woman. That's my metaphor. I mean,
right.
Where do you come up with these ideas? Because it's so important now for that headlight to look right in that vehicle.
Right. Yeah, we say the lamps are like, they say the eyes are the windows to the soul, right? The headlamps and tail lamps are, they sort of wash over the entire vehicle with the sense of technology that you get about that vehicle. So it has a big bearing on just the image that you have of that vehicle.
Yeah, you can kind of make it look, if it's a Camaro, it's squinting at you, ready
right,
to
exactly.
break out
They
of the
look
line.
angry, right?
They look angry, yeah.
Right.
You can look at something like an Impala, and it looks warm and inviting. It's amazing
right.
how that's just one of those things that, it's a tough job you have. I mean,
it is
they
tough.
come to you with this.
It is tough, and the other thing you have to think about too is what is the appropriate amount of technology for the vehicle that you're designing for. Between our entry-level Chevrolet all the way up to our luxury Cadillac, it's a wide bandwidth of technology for the lamp design.
Now, by the way, were you involved in any way the ATS headlights?
Perhaps.
You know what? That was one of the coolest headlights. Well, no, I don't. You have to lead up. That's one of the coolest headlights I've seen in a long time, because it was just one of those things that it was the right headlight for the right shape of the car.
Yeah.
And I just happened to drive one of the ATSs, and it shows what you do. Now, one of the things that I've always made a joke about is, to me, tires and wheels.
Right.
Tires and wheels, to me, are a haircut on a beautiful woman. You can have the wrong haircut.
A lot of beautiful women references you're giving out.
I have.
Right.
Well, I'm married to a beautiful one, so I have to say these things. And I haven't been married long enough. So if she's listening out there, I haven't been married long enough. But it's just, people reference cars, boats as beautiful women. I'm one of those people as well. It's not meant to be prejudiced in any way. But it's the right tire and wheel on the right car. I'll give you an example. I grew up in the 80s. We always wanted IROC Camaros. I mean, I looked at them, I drooled over them in the showroom, and I've seen 1,000 different wheels on an IROC Camaro. And to those of you out there that have switched the tires and wheels on your IROC, I'm sorry, I disagree with you, but it was that right wheel. And that, to me, it's got to be one of the toughest jobs for you, because it's got to have the right wheel on the right car.
It is tough, and you're right. When you're designing the wheels, people come in and they see thousands of wheel sketches on the wall. Literally, we do thousands of wheel sketches, and they say, how many different ways can you break up this circle? Right? It seems like there's got to be a finite number of ways you can do it, but the trends move so fast. Wheels, as well as lights, are two of the areas where it's a little bit more fashion, if you will.
Yeah.
The designs change quicker. With wheels too, we try to offer 3 or 4 different wheel designs to cater to tastes of the different people that are looking at the car. So it is a tough job.
Yeah, I don't know if I could do it. I mean, even if I had the talent in the first place. But it's one of those things where it's almost pressure put on you, because you have to. It's so important to have something like, the new Stingray.
Yep.
Now put wheels on the new Stingray. That's a job I might pass down to the guy in the cubicle next to me. I don't know if I'd want to be responsible.
It's a lot of pressure. Well, one of the good things about coming to SEMA is there's an entire hall over there of wheel designs, right? And the aftermarket wheel design, usually they move the trend. And then we see where the trends are going, and then we sort of follow in line, if that makes sense.
Do you look at things almost like taking a snapshot when you're here at SEMA? Because the design team at Chevrolet is brilliant. You look at these SEMA concept vehicles, you look at the showroom-ready cars. Do you walk around SEMA and take snapshots and ideas from just about anywhere?
Absolutely. We take thousands of photographs here, and you can be inspired by a car in a major manufacturer booth, all the way to a guy sitting outside that's sitting beside his car in his lawn chair that he did it himself in his garage. There's inspiration everywhere here.
Do you look at the materials that are available to you guys in today's car manufacturing as a big advantage, that what you can do with wheels or any part of an accessory on a vehicle?
Yeah, I think, when you look at, obviously wraps have been huge over the last 5-6 years here at SEMA. There's a lot of carbon fiber here. You can see a lot of different materials that allow you to do different shapes than we've been able to do in the past, so that's a real advantage, yeah.
When you do some of your design work, I was wondering, I've had a chance to look at 3D printers. One of the coolest things, it's one of those things that I know I'll have to wait a few years. It was kind of like my big brick phone that I had, and now I have a little tiny smartphone.
Yeah.
Somewhere down the road, I'll probably have one of those. How much work do you do with like 3D dimensions and to show people things that you do with, say, accessories on a truck or even one of the small cars?
Specific to accessories, one thing I think is really important is that, when we design the accessories while the vehicle is being designed at the same time. So what we try to do is design a group of accessories that we think go together in a nice package. We might run them through an SLA machine, which is similar to a 3D printer, or mill them out of clay, and we actually put them on the vehicle so we can see them in the real environment, make sure they're in the same flavor, in the same family, and they look like they belong.
Okay, I've always wanted to, do you still do the huge clay model? Is that still part of your design
We do.
process?
There's absolutely no substitute for that.
Yeah.
I mean, you can look at it in the tube and it can look great, and you mill it out, and there's just something about running your hand down the fender or seeing that long line from 50 feet away that you can't get when you're looking at it digitally. That's a huge part of our industry.
I think that's what the Stingray did to our industry. A lot of people, when they saw shots of it, they started to get skeptical. They started to wonder why it was this way or that way.
Right.
But when that car was unveiled and people started to see it, I remember I was the same way. I didn't pass judgment on the car. I thought, you know what? It's a photograph. I've got to see it in real life. I've got to feel the car, feel the energy from it.
Right, exactly.
I think the Stingray would probably one of the biggest advantages of having that huge model to look at before it ever got built, to see those lines and see how that really just brings it to life.
That's exactly right. When it comes right down to it, car design is all about emotion. It's eliciting emotion from the customer, and the Stingray does a great job of bringing that emotion out in people in a new way, right?
Yes, absolutely. That's the thing, is until you saw it in real life, you didn't understand how gorgeous it really was. And you saw all those little innuendos from all the different generations of cars that was brought together in that. And that's what makes you guys the brilliant team. I tell you what, man, I just can't say enough about, I could sit up here for a couple hours. Unfortunately, nobody's going to let me do that right now, but I could just sit and ask you question after question. But if you want to, and you're out here in the Chevrolet booth for 2013 SEMA, Todd's here. He'll answer any of your questions. It's great to get connected with you guys. Until the next interview, stay tuned and see what we're doing right here. Chevrolet 2013 SEMA Show.